My name's Miss New Love, and a very happy new year to you guys. We haven't been in the studio for a few weeks, so we're back live on Omega Live TV. Before I introduce you to my guest, who is very mysterious, I mean, today's show is going to be amazing. So guys, share this show right now. We're live here on Omega Live TV. We're also live on YouTube. On YouTube, it's Omega Live TV. Support us, guys. You've done a good job. Last year, we won Best Media House at the Ghana Union Awards, and that was such a great achievement for us. So continue what you're doing, like the page, share the shows, and you will get updated every week with all the shows that come on weekly. So as I said, I have a very mysterious guest in the studio, and she's going to blow your mind with her story. It's just amazing. But first of all, I have to say a big thank you to my sponsor, my main sponsor, Omega House Multimedia Company, who are located on West Green Road in North London, nearest tube station, Seven Sisters. You can go to Omega House Multimedia Company for all your multimedia needs. They do printing, coverage of events, wedding, photography, you name it, key rings, passport, photos, everything you can think of that you would need for media. So yeah, we have a guest in the studio. Her name is Lanny Lee. She is the author of an erotic novel called The Lekki Club. And I've been waiting to have her on the show. I'm so excited, really excited to hear your story. And you've got this beautiful red dress on, Lanny.
Yes, I do. Good evening, everyone. Happy New Year.
She's so calm, but you know there's a crazy woman behind that mask,
Definitely, definitely. Yes.
So Lanny, this book has stirred a lot of, I mean, myself, I'm very intrigued by the book. I've read a few chapters.
Okay.
But as you can see, guys, it's very thick, but I'm going to get to the end of it eventually. But you're here to tell us all about this book.
Yes.
And tell us about yourself.
Yes.
Yes.
I will do.
So let's start about, let's start with your, how you started getting into book writing in the first place. Was you a fan of reading? Is that how you got into book writing?
I would say that I've always been a reader. I've always read. I read a lot as a child. I read so much as a child that my father called me a bookaholic. It was so bad that at dinner time I would be reading a book and he would take the book off me and say that you need to come and eat. If you don't eat, I'm not going to give you that book back, and all that stuff. And also, my grandfather, who was based in America, he was a doctor in America. I used to stay with him as well, and it was the same thing. And doctors with books. And because sometimes there wasn't anything for me to read, I'll pick up some of his books and read that. And he used to think that, oh, we're going to have another doctor in the house. And I said, no, I'm not going into medicine. I said I was too squeamish for that. But then both of them then said that, you have read so many books. It's about time, you create your own universe of what you've read, of what you've put together, and let other people enjoy the talents that they always said that I had for writing. So
okay, so it started from a young age.
It started,
love for reading books. Yeah. And did you start writing at a young age?
I did, because I would write things down and give to my dad or give to my grandfather to say, have a look at this. But it was just the writings of a little child. But they said that you should try and do something about it.
Yeah, because nowadays everyone wants to be an author. People are releasing books, but back in the day, it would take a real bookworm, a real lover of writing, as you'd call them, a novelist, to write books.
Yes.
Now it's just easy you could even get people to write books for you now.
Yes, you can get ghostwriters to write books for you. However, nothing against ghostwriters. I do know that there are lots of ghostwriters who make their living from ghostwriting. If you've got a special message that you want to put across, it will be very hard for the ghostwriter to put it across, because the ghostwriter is just going to go on a formula to say that A plus B must equal to C. The person must open the door. It must be love at first sight. But you might want to say that, okay, I want to open the door and I want a parrot to come out, for instance. And the parrot has to be green, because green is symbolic with something and all that stuff. So Yes.
Okay, so as a child, what was you like? Because you come across as a bit of an introvert. Are you an introvert?
Yes. Yes, as a
Yeah.
child, I was very introverted.
Mhm.
And like I said, I did a lot of reading. And what some people might not actually believe, I was actually a bit of a tomboy.
Okay. Well, I can
So-
believe that. I can believe that because tomboys always turn into, you know.
So yes, so I was introverted as a kid, and that was because I think I just read a lot, and I was one of the people that rather go out,
Mhm.
I would
Stay
stay in.
in.
And it's even so bad up until now. I remember going on a girls' trip to Las Vegas.
Mhm.
So I'm not a big fan of shopping. So
Okay.
all the girls are saying, "Oh, we're going to hit this, we're going to hit that,"
Uh-huh.
and I just said, "Girls, I'm sitting in that corner with my Kindle. You can bring your shopping bags to me, but I'm not walking around with you to do all that shopping." So it's still with me till
Yeah.
today.
Well, it's
So
made you the person you are today, and
yes,
it's led you to this moment of writing this
yes.
amazing,
Thank you.
amazing erotic novel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did you come up with the concept? It's called the Lekki Club.
Yes.
I'll let you tell us about
Okay.
it.
So when I started writing this book, I was actually also writing another book that I hope to publish in the next maybe 12 to 18 months.
Okay.
And that is about a pivotal event that happened in the black community some years ago.
Okay.
But I won't say too much about it
Mhm.
because I want people to
Yes.
read the book. And that book is a very dark book.
Mm.
And to help me write that book, one of the writing mentors that I follow, James Scott Bell, he always said something that, you know, if you're writing one book and it's getting difficult for you to continue, start something else that is totally opposite.
Okay.
And I had actually started writing the Lekki Club on a blog somewhere, and I started, and that really helped me write well, because the thing about, if you can write sex really well, there's nothing you can't write. Sex is the hardest thing to write about.
Yes, definitely. I would agree.
Yeah. So, and then I said that, you know, to help
It's
me,
the hardest thing to talk about.
and it's the hardest thing to talk about as well. So I then said that, you know, let me start writing that. And when the idea came to me, I was actually driving to Bradford
Okay.
one day. I got stuck in traffic.
Not to Lagos.
No, I was on my way visiting somebody, and
Okay.
I was stuck in traffic. And when I do long journeys, I tend to listen to audiobooks.
Okay. Yeah.
And I was stuck in traffic, and I was listening to this book, and I said that, Lana, you can do better than this. You know, you're already complaining that this is too cliched. There's this, there's that. You know, why don't you do something about it? And then I said to myself, actually, I'm going to write something, and I'm going to turn it around. And instead of making it a man dominating a woman, I'm going to make it a woman dominating a man. And then I then said that, you know, what if, because that is the one thing about me, whenever I go out, we've got some very important news that's been reported today.
Yes.
And for me, it's before I came here today, I was already thinking about, what if I did this, what if I did that, based on that news that came out today. That's how my brain is always working about writing news stories. So I then said that, you know, what if, okay, you've got a woman who's going to dominate a man. So what scenery, or where can you place this book that will create impact? And I said, actually, put it somewhere in Africa, because there is no way in Africa any man is going to openly say and accept that I will let a woman dominate me. It's something that they will never talk about. And I said, okay, let me do that. And because I live in Lekki, and there's a lot of things that go on in Lekki, I then said that, actually, let me call it the Lekki Club.
Do you live in Lekki now?
Here and there.
Okay.
Yeah,
You're
in
back
both,
in.
back
Okay.
and forth, yeah.
Okay.
So, and then I said that, you know,
Lekki's in Nigeria, guys.
yeah. And Lekki sounded very mysterious.
Yeah,
and
because you got the Housewives of Lekki. You know, it's always about Lekki.
yeah, exactly. And Lekki is a very cosmopolitan place. There's a lot of money there. There's a lot of well-to-do people there, and there are a lot of secret clubs there as well.
There is.
Yes.
Okay.
People have asked me where the club is, but I cannot tell them.
But you know where the clubs are.
Yes.
Okay.
So.
Well, you would. 'Cause I mean, your book's all about that. But you know where all the dungeons are.
Exactly.
The underground places.
The underground places.
In
So
Lekki.
yes, in Lekki. So, and that's how it came to be. And I said that call it the Lekki Club.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the characters. Let's talk about the book. If you could, it's a very big book. Obviously, we can't, go into everything. But we want the audience to understand or have an idea. Give them a teaser about the book, the characters.
Yeah. So I'll start with our main protagonist. His name is Remy. He's a tall, handsome guy. If I were to bring him into the studio today, he will be the guy who... Did you watch Girls Trip?
Yes.
He's the guy that went off with Jada Pinkett.
Ah.
The grapefruit guy.
He's actually Ghanaian.
There you go. So, yeah. So do you agree?
Yes. He's very nice.
He's very nice. Yes. So, yeah. So he's the guy that I actually, when I was looking at him, I said, yeah, this guy could be Remy.
Okay.
So you've got Remy, tall, dark and handsome, the ladies' man about town. You always see him with a different girl all the time. He had been engaged. That engagement broke up. But one of the reasons why he's been going from woman to woman is because he's searching for something. And he gets invited to a mysterious club in Lekki, and he goes in, and just like here where
and this book is fiction.
This book is fiction.
Totally fiction.
Well,
so there's nothing like in this book. Have you experienced anything in this book? Does any of it come from you? Or any experience you've had?
The bit that comes from me is the gym bit, because I go to the gym a lot.
Yes.
So I won't call myself a gym freak, but in the past, people have approached me to do weightlifting competitions.
Okay.
So yeah, so all the bit that you'll read in the book about
working out,
that would be true.
Okay.
So that is the only thing that I can say about that.
Okay.
So Remy goes into this club, and there are loads of pictures on the wall, and he stands in front of one picture, which is a picture of a man being dominated by a woman. He's kneeling down in front of a woman, and the woman's got her hand on his shoulder, and more or less telling him what to do. And he's lost in that picture when he feels somebody's eyes on him, and he turns around, and there is this woman as short as myself and Jada Pinkett. He turns around and he sees this woman staring at him, and he could see that the woman's actually staring at him with knowledge in her eyes, because she actually knows what's going through his mind at that point in time, because there is whimsical wanting in his pose. You can see that it's something that he wants, but the minute he sees the woman, his face changes.
Okay.
So even though Remy never wears a mask, but there is a mask that he's been showing to people all this time, because it's what people expect of him. Nobody would expect him to be a sexual submissive, which he's never been able to tell anyone.
But it's something that he wants.
It's something that he wants. And this woman then figures out what's going on, and the story goes on from there. He gets invited into this extra special room 3, where... So
it's an actual club where all this stuff goes on?
Yeah.
What kind of stuff goes on?
Well, in this club, what it is that it costs a lot to get in there. It's around $70,000 a year for membership. Yeah. And for that, you get total discretion of, whatever you want to do. One of the main tenets of the club is, you come in here, you can leave all your people thinking that people are going to judge you behind. we take you for what you are. If you know, like being dangled from the ceiling and somebody doing all kinds of things to you, handcuffing, you know, you're free to do. Yeah, you're free to do it. Yeah,
candle wax
and all that. Yeah,
all that stuff.
Yeah, so you're in a consensual, sane environment whereby everybody has signed, you know, non-disclosure agreement documents, whereby even before you become a member, background checks are done on you. If you've been involved in any kind of assault or rape or anything, you will not get entry into the club. So
but realistically, would that happen in Nigeria? How would you find out about someone's background? Or
oh, you can do. Remember the thing about, even though
someone could come and lie and create a different identity.
But then they've got people who go into the community to say that, okay, Lani, you live at number 1 Chevron Avenue. Okay, I can send undercover people to go there. Can you? Because at the end of the day, their reputation is at stake if they let in the wrong people into the club. Because it's happened before in clubs like that where you've got, you know, sadists hanging out, and if the club doesn't do their due diligence before they let people in, people can get harmed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially in this environment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and I think it's something that people want to be comfortable about, to know that if I hook up with somebody in the club, I come in and I say that today I want to hook up with somebody and I want that person to tie me up for, let's say, 5 hours. I want to know that the person that I hook up with, you know, somebody else has done their own due diligence on that person, to know that I will be safe with that person.
And also that they don't have no STDs or stuff like that. Well, what about that side of things?
Well, that side of things, one of the things that the club will, you know, always, when you go into all the rooms of the club, there's, you know, loads and loads and loads and loads of condoms. So it's not, nobody would advise you to go unprotected.
Okay.
Yeah.
It must take a lot of, well, you're very brave to write a book like this. Being a Nigerian woman, you know, that does live here and live in Nigeria.
Yeah.
I mean, in the acknowledgement in your book, you speak about your dad supporting you and having his support from afar. Did he ever question you about the content of the book? I know your dad is...
My dad is Nigerian.
Yes, I know that.
And bless his soul and his spirit, my father's actually not with me.
Yes, I was about to say. Yeah.
So, but it was one thing that he always told me, to follow your dream, and whatever you write, you know, make sure that you write the best, make sure you do the best. And in his own way, he has been giving me support. There have been times when I've questioned myself about, am I doing the right thing? What are people going to say? Which actually brought me to, you know, your quote for the day. You know, is it fearless is limitless or something?
Yeah, we're gonna go into we're gonna go to the quote.
Yeah. So, and it got to the stage whereby I was thinking, what will people think? What will my family think?
Yeah. And your friends?
And my friends, yes.
Yeah. So what about your family? I mean, you're in disguise. Do any of your family members know that you've written this book?
Some do, and some have kept, what is the word that I will use? Quiet. They haven't said much, because, and then some I've said that, you know, don't read it. Some of them I've had, like two of my nieces, who, you know, we went out one day and we were talking about it, and she was saying that, you know, why should you be ashamed of what you've written? You know, if this was written by anybody else, you know,
a white woman,
we'll all be applauding that person, but we've now got a famous author in our family, so, you know, we should embrace it. So yeah, but there have been some people who've looked at me and said that, you know, you need to come to church on Sunday for
you need deliverance. I'm sure you get that a lot.
A lot, because what goes through your mind, etc., etc., that, you know, how could you write something like that? And I'm trying to tell them that, you know, at the end of the day, one of the big things that quite a few people who came back to me about the book said that one thing that they've taken away is that it's going to help them with sexual communication. And that's a big thing that people say is lacking. I remember going out one day, we went to a restaurant somewhere in Canary Wharf.
Okay.
On that table we had 3 generations of women, children, aunts, grandmothers and all that stuff. And we were talking about, and actually we were talking about the Lekki Club. It came to that some people were uncomfortable. The 2 tables on either end went quiet because they wanted to eavesdrop into what I was talking about.
I can imagine.
But at the end of the day, one of my nieces said to the grandmother to say that, you know, how come you guys never talked about all of this when you guys were younger? It might have helped you,
your marriage,
your marriages, your relationships and all that stuff. You know, why do people still find it difficult to talk about it? I can't answer that question. I think it's shyness or the fact that people think that if you do talk about it, you're wayward, you're forward. I don't know.
And we're talking about sex, aren't we?
Exactly.
Okay, just to make it clear.
Yeah, we are talking about sex. And it's not as if, you know, people didn't appear out of nowhere. I know that when I was younger, my mum used to tell me that babies are left at the front door. But
I think even children know that now.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so, yes. Yeah.
I mean, the generation... well, my children, they knew from a very young age all about reproduction and how, you know, we are made.
Yeah.
Because I told them, and I think it's very important to, you know, educate children from a young age about sex. I mean, it's sex education and reproduction.
Yes.
And all that. That's just my personal.
Yeah, I think so as well, because I think it's quite important, because there's still some people who believe that, you know, if a man touches you, you'll get pregnant. That also took me a long time to understand, when I was told by aunties, older grandmothers to say that, you know, if you let a man touch you, and I kid you not, I used to think at that age, maybe between 11 and 13, that if a man did this to me, I would get pregnant.
And this was years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I think the narrative needs to change. We need to be open about it. It doesn't mean that children are going to be wayward. It doesn't mean that people are going to be wayward. I had somebody who...
I think the more you talk about it, the less you are wayward. I think you're more wayward when you don't know and you want to find out, and, you know, you want to experiment and do things.
Yeah, that is very true.
Yeah.
And I remember somebody coming to me who bought the book, and this made me laugh. This man, I reckon, being conservative, he must be in his late 40s, early 50s. He looked at the book, he said, oh yeah, I'm really interested. I want to buy it for someone. She's a widow, will it give her ideas? And I'm saying in my mind, if she can't enjoy sex now, when is she going to enjoy sex? You know, why are you asking that kind of question, that is it going to give her ideas? What are you afraid of? So,
but what you wrote the book, and when people read it, what do you expect them to get from the book?
One thing that I expect them to get from the book is fun. It's a very interesting book. But the main theme that I would like them to take away from the book is be open about what you want. Have the courage to communicate to your partner, to say that, you know, if it's, you've read somewhere that the sensation of ice on your body is nice, tell your partner, can we try something else? I'd like to know what it feels like to have ice, you know, rubbed down my body. You might do it and not like it, but at least you know that you did it. You might find out that it's the sensation of the cold water dropping on you that you actually like. Or, you know, you've read somewhere that spanking, you know, makes you feel all kinds of sensation in your bum. You tell your partner that, you know, I want you to spank me. Whether the person will accept it or not, but it's something that both of you can negotiate.
An African man will do that anyway. He's not going to ask you, is he? He's just going to be slapping you
exactly.
all over the place.
Oh yeah. So, but then the biggest thing is, I think that what we're going to find, and what I find, and what people have come back to tell me, is the fact that, in a way, I believe that women, we are given what we want in sex. We are given a lot. For a man, he always says that, I want to be able to satisfy that woman, and as with Afro beats, I want to shift her womb and all that stuff. But, you know...
Dancehall music is worse.
Oh, really?
It's definitely worse.
Okay.
The language used.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. But then nobody ever thinks about what a man wants, which is the other thing. I wrote this book from a man's perspective.
Yes.
Which is
Remy
why
is the man. Yeah.
which is why a lot of people, before they actually saw me on social media, actually thought that I was a man.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah, because I didn't actually know who you were when I was, you know, doing my research.
Yeah.
Because you didn't have. It's just recently you started to post pictures of yourself. So I was thinking, who's the author of this book?
Yeah.
I thought it was a man too.
Yeah.
Guys, if you've just joined us in the studio, we have Lani Lee, who is the author of an erotic novel called The Lekki Club, and we've been talking to her about how she got the concept for the book and why she thought it was important to write an erotic novel in this time. So we're discussing. We're still in our discussion.
Yes, we are.
Yes. So how long did it take you to write this book? Because it's quite... It's got a lot of pages in there. Yeah. It must have taken a long time.
You'll be surprised. So I'll tell you what happened. On the 3rd of December 2018, I had an epiphany. I decided that I'd been putting this stuff off for too long, because in my professional life, I'm actually a project manager in the IT industry.
Okay.
So, and I do travel, hence why I'm here and in Lagos. So it depends on where the stuff that I need to do is. And I kept on saying to myself that you need to do this, you need to do this. And I actually got annoyed at work. Somebody annoyed me. And I said to myself, you know, now's the time. You've used your profession to keep on, stop chasing your dream. It's about time. You sat down and did it. So on the 3rd of December, I'll never forget, around 6 o'clock.
A lot of people do stuff out of frustration. A lot of entrepreneurs, you know, people that I've met on the show and in general through networking, you know, get a business idea or vision to start something through frustration at their 9 to 5. Yeah. Because they're just fed up. Yes. And it's like they want to do something that they want to do. Yeah. But it's always from a particular incident that they've had at work. Yeah. You know, or they're going into a depression. And then they decide, you know, like, enough is enough, and I'm going to do what I've always wanted to do. And even myself, I started a project that I have going on out of frustration because, you know, it's like I was always doing things for other people. So I thought, you know, it's about time
you did your
I do something for myself.
That's good.
So yeah. So how long did it take you?
So I finished my first draft by the end of January. Wow. I sent it out to beta readers and an editor by the 2nd week of February. And the feedback that I got back, the person actually said that, oh, you know, you've got something going here that we don't see a lot of books written from a man's point of view, one. And erotica, looking at, you know, from his point of view, that, you know, you might want to continue on this thing, but you know, I didn't know that it was that good. And there was this particular person who actually wanted to be part of it, but she was then trying to correct a lot of the things, and I said that you can't, because this is African, this is the way we do things. So there was something she said, I don't understand what this is, or you can't say this, and I said, but that's how we speak in Africa. So yeah, so and then in March I then released it on Ocado Books, which is like the Amazon of Africa. And then after that I then released it paperback on Amazon. So was you scared? Initially, yes. About releasing the book? Yes. I was, because releasing it first in Africa, and that's something that I wanted to do, because I wanted to... Where did you launch? Did you launch in Lekki? Actually, I haven't done my launch there yet.
You haven't?
I haven't done that
So
yet.
have you done a launch here?
I'm thinking of doing a launch.
So you haven't done a launch?
But I only did my launch in America, in Atlanta.
And how did that go? I think that's a good place to start.
Yes, it went really well because
Americans are more open to these things,
yes, and a lot of men came out of the woodwork that day at the book launch. Yeah, honestly,
really?
To talk openly
wow.
about domination and submission, about women, and they said one thing. That,
was it mainly was the audience mainly African American, like Nigerians?
It was a mix.
Just Black Americans.
Black Americans and some white Americans as well. So Atlanta is quite a kinky place. So you've got people who are more open about their sexuality there, and a lot of the guys said that once men start talking about this. It will become more mainstream. Men will not be shy to say that, this is the way that I am. And that you've got to then remember that just because a man likes being sexually dominated in the bedroom doesn't stop him from being the man he needs to be in real life. It doesn't stop him from being the protector of his family, what he needs to do to make sure that he puts, food on the table. But that's, if he's able to be open enough and get what he wants, that will sustain him to go the extra length, the extra mile, to put food on his table, because the other food that he needs to eat, it's been satisfied.
That's true.
He's getting what he wants. And, he will always do what he needs to do for his family or for his woman. So that's what I believe anyway. And like I said, I do believe that men are not understood. We place so much emphasis on men satisfying women.
When you say men, are you talking about African men
or
men in general?
I'm just talking about, men in general. Men will always have performance anxiety to say that, I need to perform. I need to do this. I must be able to go 10 rounds. I must be able to do this. I must be able to do reverse cowgirl, or I don't know how many positions there are out there. But what about if the man actually says that what I prefer is you being in charge. You tell me what to do. You boss me around. I think they're still afraid to say things like that.
You think so?
I think so.
Well, you're the...
And I've done research on it, so yeah.
I was going to say you're the expert.
Yes,
so.
and I have had men who have come back to me, who have read the book or who have seen excerpts on social media, and said that what you've written about, I've taken this book, and I'm actually talking with my friends about sexual communication, and maybe we did things wrong. Marriages have broken down, and people have said that if I had this book, or if I knew then what I know now, things would have been different.
Do you find that men are more interested in this book, or have bought the book more than women?
Oh yeah, I've got at least 30 copies of my book were bought by men.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
And I did get feedback from them about what it made them feel. This is an adult show, isn't it? So.
Well, it's adult time.
So yeah, I did get feedback from men who were saying that they did get aroused just by reading it. I had one person who came back who said that, I had to put it away when my daughter came into the room because I was tenting in my bed. So I said, thank you very much. That's the best feedback I could ever get. So yes.
Wow. So the mask, you've got this mask on your face. I mean, why do you wear the mask?
The mask is a metaphor for human relationships and sex, because everybody, you never open yourself up to your partner or your sexual partner until you believe that you can be comfortable. We're all wearing a mask, even though some of us might not wear this, and some people will never be brave enough to tell their partner what they want. And there will always be that sense of dissatisfaction in the relationship, because one person wants this, one person wants that. And the reason why I use it a lot is the fact that, as I mentioned, Remy has been wearing a mask all this time. And until he met Mistress Eve, who managed to help him remove that mask, accept what he wants and accept what he needs, then his mask was removed and he was able to be the person he needed and wanted to be with Mistress Eve.
Okay. So are you ever going to reveal your identity?
No.
You're not?
No.
Why is that?
It's now become part of me, actually. So it's now become part of my brand. So, and I like to represent Mistress Eve whenever I go out. She's a no-nonsense woman. So, and she knows how to get what she wants out of people.
Okay, let's divert. Let's go off a little bit because it's getting a bit steamy in here, guys. So we want to bring the steam down a little bit. So this year I've introduced to the show a quote of the week.
Okay.
A quote that I will always mention to my guests and let them tell me how that quote makes them feel or what they get from that quote. So the quote for this week is, once you become fearless, life becomes limitless.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you? What's that saying to you?
Well, if I
and how can you relate to this quote?
So thank you for the question, and that quote, when I actually read it, it resonated a lot with me because of changes and stuff like that happens in life. And when I looked back at my journey as an author and looking at that, when you become fearless, you do become limitless, because for me, my fear that was holding me back all the time, because this book could have been steamier, I could have gone deeper, which is going to go deeper in the next book of the Lekki Club anyway. But I kept on saying to myself, what are people going to think? What are people going to say? For a very, very long time, that actually stifled my creativity and my writing, because I would write something and then I will stop and say that, you can't write this or you can't write that. But, one day, maybe it was my Father's Spirit that was talking to me and saying that, look, stop, selling yourself short. Write what you want to write. There will be somebody out there. And I said to myself, as Toni Morrison said before she died, you write the book that you want to read about, because nobody else is going to write it. So, and then I did become limitless, because then everything just started flowing. So, sometimes you've got to say that I want to do this. Damn the consequences. In some instances, and you will find that resources and things will come your way to help you achieve that goal.
Yeah, which is happening to you. So have you received any negativity, like from your fellow friends, family? I've asked you that before, but how do you deal with negativity? And have you experienced it?
Yes, well, one person...
Like straight to you? Yes,
people have said that, what do you, how could you write something like this? You're such a XYZ from XYZ family, you're this, that or the other. I would have expected something a bit more, whatever from you. And I just said that, sometimes when, be careful what you wish for, because you'll always get it. And I always said that I wanted to be a writer, I wanted to be the best in what I do. And this idea kept on coming to me over and over again, that you need to do it, you need to do it. And I'm a spiritual person, there's a lot of spirituality in this book anyway. And I prayed about it and I said that, if that is my calling, that is my calling. And when somebody said that, and I said, well, it came from God, because I did pray about it. And then the person kept quiet, because what more can you say
after that?
After that, because you do ask God, you ask him to give you the time to be able, give you the creativity, give you the peace of mind to be able to write properly. If you don't have that, you won't be able to do it. So, yeah. So, I take it on the chin. I know that some people will like it, some people won't. And even people on social media have come to my aid to say that, I don't know why you guys keep on saying that this book is this book is that. But, when that other book came out, all of you read it. But now you've got something that you can relate to that has got a lot of African themes in it. You're all putting it down and saying, heaven forbid, I can't read it.
So what's your favourite part of the book? Can you share a part of the book with us?
This part of the book, this is going to get really steamy now.
Okay, feel free.
So there was one part of the book just before Sam and Mistress Eve and Remy got to a very pivotal point. So he got a message because Mistress Eve is into instructions. She likes giving instructions to Remy. So Remy always gets a text or an email about what he needs to be doing in room 3 on a certain day. So this particular email that he got, it was that he needs to be in room 3 on Friday night. But I think she sent him the message on Sunday, and she told him that he needs to masturbate 2 times a day, once in the morning, once in the evening, and he should take himself right to the point of no return, but he must not come. And if he does, that she will know. And if you find it difficult to, stick to these instructions, please let me know. And if you do come, I will know, and your punishment will be very severe.
Well, guys, you heard. She's given you a bit of insight to what's in the book.
Yes. So that what I would say is my favourite, because I giggled all the way writing that.
Wow, Lani Lee, the novelist. That's what you are?
Yes.
So do you plan to write more? And are you always going to stick to writing erotic novels, or?
Well, the book that I wanted to release, the second book that I wanted to release after this, my manager actually told me not to release that yet. So I'm actually going to release...
When you say your manager, is that a personal manager or?
A personal manager.
Okay, yeah.
Who helps with all my writing ideas and
your branding
and all that stuff. And I was told that, for the time being, as we're building momentum on the Lekki Club, because I did always say that I wanted to write a second part of this book, and I was told that, stick to that for now.
Yeah, because you've got a lot to do with this book. I mean, you haven't done a launch here, you haven't done a launch in Nigeria.
Yeah.
It might even take you on a launch around Africa. You never know where it'll take you.
Exactly. So I'm writing the sequel to the Lekki Club, and that actually is based in Scotland and Nigeria. I won't say more than that.
Wow.
But I believe the second book will impact a lot of lives.
Okay.
And a lot of people. In a very good way.
In a good way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you had J.K. Rowling, who wrote the I even forgot the name of it. Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's turned into, well, she's become more than an author.
Yeah.
It's turned into movies, and there's been sequels, and it's huge.
Yeah.
Do you have that vision for the Lekki Club, like turning into a movie? And
I do, and my wish, for this 2020, and I know some people have approached me already about it, but I would like to see the Lekki Club as a movie, because...
Or even as a series.
As a series, or anything, because if that other book could get three films out of that book, and everybody went to watch it, why can't we do something, about this? And Africa alone, there are a lot, the population is into the billions.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that everybody would want to watch this and see this on the big screen, because I did make sure that, it's not just writing about, it's not just an erotic journey. There's a lot of African spirituality. There's a lot of African drama, because, we are very dramatic people.
Yes.
So there's a lot of drama in it as well. So, and I hope that, people will be able to do something with it, and it become a movie or a series. And I believe that it will, be very successful.
So you've been described as a BDSM novelist.
Yeah.
What does that stand for?
Well,
break down every
alphabet. Okay. So the reason why people tagged me as a BDSM novelist is because of the fact that Mistress Eve is a shibari practitioner. She loves rope. She loves tying people up.
Okay.
And one of the things about BDSM, the B stands for bondage.
Okay.
Some people do like being tied up, and it's very erotic if you are tied up. You can't move your arms, you can't move anything, and then you have somebody who's exploring your body. You can't tell the person to stop because you've got no control. So you're there at the mercy of the person, and the person is telling you to concentrate on the sensations that's happening in your body. And it's another kind of experience. So that's the B. The D is domination, i.e. what Remy was always looking for, you know, to be sexually dominated, or just to be told that, you know, do certain things, I want you. So for most of the time, when Remy went into room 3, he was always told by Mistress Eve that he has to be there naked, hard. If he's not hard by the time she comes in, he's in trouble. So that's instructions that he's getting. That's the domination that he was looking for. So he likes that. The submission is he's submitting to her will. He's submitting to what she wants of him. And so you've got that. And then the other bit of the S is there are also some people in BDSM who actually like pain.
Okay.
So that is people who like to inflict pain on other people. So you've got the sadist who will inflict the pain, but I know that it sounds a bit weird, but you then also, the M stands for people who like to receive pain, the masochists. So,
and there's an industry.
And there's an industry.
There's a BDSM industry.
There's a BDS because there's a BDSM community. Because what happens in the BDSM community is, if I'm somebody who gets turned on by pain, or who gets turned on by, you know, somebody having a feather and, you know, whipping my leg, and it turns me on, it makes me feel some kind of, it gives me a high. I want to be able to tell that to somebody who's not going to think that I'm a freak.
Yeah, I understand.
So that is why there's a community for all of these people, so that, you know, when you explain and all the stuff that needs to be done, you know that you're in the right place. And another thing about the BDSM community is the fact that a lot of these things that happen, so for instance, if somebody's tied you up for an hour and they're just teasing you continuously, whoever that person is, there's a possibility that that person is going to orgasm at least maybe 5 or 6 times. That is very, very draining for the person. It's, you release all kinds of endorphins, all kinds of feelings get released, and by the time the person unties you, all that you want to do is to collapse in the person's arms. And as part of the whole scene or the play routines that people do, one of the most important things is aftercare. You ask the person, how do you feel? How was it for you? Which is one of the reasons why a lot of people say that people in such relationships have a very, very, very strong relationship, because they talk. They always communicate
about what they want.
About what they want and about what. So, you know, you finish a scene of Remy being tied up. Mistress Eve is going to ask Remy, what did you like about it? How did it make you feel? What were you scared about? And he tells her, and she knows what to do next time to say that I won't tie him up as hard, or when I stopped, he was about to come, I shouldn't have stopped then, and all that stuff. So you're actually talking about your desires of what you want. So, and you don't even have to be in the BDSM community to be able to communicate effectively.
Yeah.
You know, every day is a new day to make a resolution.
Yes.
You know, at the end of the day, sex gives us a lot of pleasure. It brings us closer to the person that we're with. So, you know, why don't you make a decision today to say that I will talk to that person, I will say what I want and how I want it, without, you know, being
And that's
shy.
why it's good that someone like you has written this book, like you were saying before, if a white person or somebody of another ethnicity wrote it, it would be okay, it's normal. Like, you just think, oh, white people do these things, it's normal.
Yeah.
But for you as a Nigerian woman to write a book like this it's quite deep. But like you said, it's brought a lot of healing to people. That's been your reviews, and especially men.
Yes.
You know, and I personally think it's a good thing, because you've done what you finally want to do.
Exactly.
So it's helping you as well.
Yes, that
yourself
is true. Yes.
to come out of your shell and just be free.
Yes.
Even though you have the mask on.
Yes, even though I have the mask on. And it's got to the stage now whereby I'm being, you know, I'll accept the title, touted as a sex expert, because I do become passionate when I talk about sex and communication, and that is what I want people to take away, you know. Read the book and go back and tell the person you're with, you know. I had somebody who's from South Africa.
Yes.
And funny enough, there's a lot of parallels between her and her partner. But she said that, Lani, I'm buying one for myself and I'm buying one for him, and we're going on a 2-week holiday, and I'm going to tell him what to read and how to read it, and I'm going to make sure that we discuss it properly. And you see, that is, you know, already there.
Yes.
It's, you know, the message that I want people to get and to do with it is already out there. So communicate, you know, go home tonight, talk to your partner, don't be shy, be brave. There are ways that you can ease people in gently. But, you know, I think it's quite important. And one thing that I'll tell you, you know, in most homes, if the sex is right, nobody's going to complain that their dish is in the sink. Nobody's going to complain that you didn't go out and buy a bread, or you left this or you left that. Everybody's happy. Everybody's on cloud 9.
That's true.
So
sex is very important.
Yes.
As we're hearing from Lani Lee, the author of an erotic novel, The Lekki Club, you know, how important sex is in relationships, how it's important to talk about what you want to your partner. Yeah, so I think you're amazing. I think you're doing a good thing, and continue what you're doing.
Thank you.
And guys, if you've just tuned in, like I said, we've been talking to Lani Lee, who is a novelist. That's an old term for an author, but a novelist is more used for fiction, isn't it? Yeah. So the book that she's written, The Lekki Club, is a fiction book. So yes, novelist is the right term to use. We've been talking about this amazing book that she's written. So please share. I mean, this show is always going to be available, so share. We're live on Facebook now, and we're also live on YouTube, omegalivetv. Hit the like button so you get weekly updates of all the shows that we have running through the week. So Lani, what other authors have inspired you? Because you have explained to us that you're a reader and you've been a bookworm since you were young. So which books, you know, do you read or have read that have really inspired you? Or what authors have inspired you to get to this point that you are today?
Somebody that I really, and I hope that I get the opportunity to meet one day, Karen Slaughter.
Okay.
So she's a prolific writer, and she writes about murders, grisly murders. And I remember reading her bio when she wrote her first book as well, which was, she wanted to write a book, but she kept on trying to hold herself back because people will say that it was too grisly, it was too this. So I like her a lot. There's also Jeffrey Deaver. Jeffrey Deaver is also a thriller writer, and he taught me certain things about writing, about how to put red herrings in books, i.e. he's leading you down this path and actually the answer is down there. And then the other person that I did get to read was Sylvia Day, because she's the Crossfire author. And she helped explain to me what it means to go on an erotic journey which is a sexual journey for a person. So, and yeah, so those are the three people that I would say that have really impacted my writing. And one other person who, without all of this, I never would have done it, is James Scott Bell. He is a writing mentor. He mentors a lot of people. He's written quite a lot of books on how to write and what to do. So his book was always by my side when I was writing. And it's more about show, don't tell. Show people, you know, what you're trying to say rather than telling them that the sky was blue.
Okay.
You need to be able to explain how the sky was blue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing. It's been lovely having you in the studio, especially to start off a new year. You know, you've let us know it's important to be fearless and, you know, go for what you want to go for in life and be fearless.
Yes.
And that's what I like about you, and that's
Thank
why I wanted you on the show to bring us into 2020 with a bang. So what 3 top tips would you give to somebody that's watching, they're at home, they want to do something, they're scared, you know, of what people might say, society, whoever, the church, friends, family. I mean, what 3 top tips would you give to someone to just break out right now?
What I'll say to people my 3 top tips is, if you have a dream, you have to pursue it. And the other thing is, you have to believe in yourself. If you believe in yourself and you have confidence in yourself, believe you me, the universe will listen to you. And the law of attraction will make sure that things are put in your path for you to get to where you want to get to. Somebody told me that the voice of the Lord is heard in very strange ways and diverse ways, but you have to be open to listen, because he will talk to you, he will give you signs, and you need to go for it. And the other thing is, have faith in yourself. Don't lose sight of that goal that you have. You might think that it's impossible. Nothing is impossible. Go for it. You have to, because otherwise you'll live a life of regret.
Live a life of lies as well. Lying to yourself, being pretentious, being someone you're not.
Exactly.
Just go for it. So you are a perfect example of a gold digger. Thank you for coming on the show today. Where can people find you on social media?
So,
if they want to get in contact with you, or
if you want to get in contact with me, you can go on my Instagram page. I've actually got 2 Instagram pages. Actually, I've got LANI.7 on Instagram, or you can find me on Author L Lee on Instagram. I'm also on Twitter, Author L Lee, and I'm also on Facebook, Author L Lee. So, and if you wanted to email me about anything, my email address is authorllee@gmail.com. So it's all consistent. So feel free to contact me. And you can buy the book on Ocado Books if you're in Africa. You can get it on amazon.co.uk and amazon.com. And actually, if you want to buy a copy of the book and you are based in the UK, you can get a signed copy for £10.
that's a good price for a big book.
Yeah.
Very good
So,
price.
but you'll need to contact me via email or via social media. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for coming on Gold Diggers, and all the best.
Thank you.
I wish you all the best in your career as a novelist. I'm sure in a few years you're going to be the next J.K. Rowling.
Amen. I accept that and I take it and I claim it. This is 2020. Guys, this is the year 2020. It's the year for everybody to leap into what you want. It's a special year. We only get this opportunity once in 4 years.
That's true. Thank you so much. So guys, we've had this lovely woman on the show. She's been so open about herself and, you know, her book. And yeah, so it's been wild. It's been a wild night. But, you know, she didn't even go into much detail, but just the little bit that she gave us was enough. You know, it's enough, because the time is not past 12 yet. So thank you so much. And thank you guys for tuning in to the first Gold Diggers of 2020. We are back next week, Monday at 8 p.m. Thank you guys for tuning in. And don't forget to share this, because it's always up there. This is a show you need to share with your you know, your people and your guys and whatever. So share the show, and I will see you next week with another guest in the studio. So thank you for tuning in.
And thank you, Miss Newland. Thank you for having me on the show.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
You're so welcome. Thank you.